Warning: this podcast may contain graphic and triggering content. Please listen at your own risk. Each individual struggle is different, and everyone's recovery and healing journey is different. Please reach out to a certified medical professional if you need help. Welcome to episode 6 of Stomp the Stigma, the podcast aimed to fight the stigma surrounding mental health through education, awareness, experiences, stories, resources, and the vulnerable truth. Joining me to stomp the stigma today is Colin Richardson. He is the founder of a new initiative called Beat the Burn, which is dedicated to fighting burnout in frontline workers. He is here to talk about what causes burnout and how we can help each other get through the hard days and what the general public can do to help frontline workers beat burnout. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you kind of just started all of this. So what would you call it? Would you call it a nonprofit? Do you call it I don't know, how do you classify Beat the Burn?
So I've been calling it a nonprofit initiative.
Initiative. Okay. I like that. Okay. So I guess tell me all about it. What is it?
Sure. So, have we started? Sorry.
Yeah, we're going.
Okay. So Beat the Burn is a initiative that I've started. So I lead a team of frontline workers at one of Calgary's homeless shelters. And throughout COVID and this last year, I just noticed within myself and within my teammates and peers that we were having more conversations and about mental health, and surrounding these conversations were surrounding burnout, and you could just tell that we were really feeling this pandemic mentally. And so I started to look at solutions on how I can address this within my team and try to boost morale and support my team's mental well-being. And it became obvious that there was an opportunity to try to address this across Canada and not just within my team. And so, so that's kind of where it got started. And as I was doing more research, I learned that peer support is the number one way and most effective way to prevent burnout. And so I decided it'd be pretty cool to take this idea of peer support and grow it at a national level and really demonstrate that frontline workers across the country have each other's back and support each other, support their mental well-being. And that's where it got going.
That is amazing. So are you in the healthcare field or no?
No, so sort of social services would be
okay
within the homeless sector. Nice. Yeah.
Well, I love this initiative. I'm so glad that you've started this, because I definitely, I know a lot of people in the healthcare field as well, and definitely noticing the burnout. My sister actually messaged me yesterday or the day before. She is a pharmacist at the hospital, and she was telling me that it was starting to get to her, and seeing all the tragedies and all the deaths that are coming with the pandemic is really getting to her. So
absolutely. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, being a caregiver without a pandemic is extremely difficult, and burnout has been around for so long and will continue to be around. So hopefully Beat the Burn, and we'll start some conversations and try to decrease burnout and
That's awesome. So for everyone that doesn't know, what is burnout?
See, the thing is about this is I'm certainly not an expert on mental health or anything like that. I just realized that this was a problem and tried to come up with a solution.
Absolutely.
And then the part that I lack the most is the technical, counseling and things like that. That's where I'm not.
Hey, I'm in the exact same boat. I wanted to get this podcast going, but I don't have a background in mental health. I struggle with mental health issues, but I am by no means a professional at all. So
okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
So burnout is chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. And that's from the World Health Organization. And they've actually classified it as one of their health conditions. And it's a feeling of energy depletion or exhaustion, and it's an increased mental distance from one's job or feelings of negativism or cynicism related to one's job, and reduced professional. I don't know how to say that word. You're gonna have to cut that part out. I'm failing. I'm sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine.
Okay.
It's up to you. If you want to reread that, you can go for it, but
No, these are too technical words for me.
Okay, that's okay.
Sheesh.
We'll go with that. Okay, so I guess you started Beat the Burn to kind of bring awareness to the healthcare field and burnout in the healthcare field, correct?
Yeah. Well,
Or
I
just
mean,
burnout
really,
in general?
all frontline workers. So
Okay.
I've been really. I wanted to be as inclusive as possible. So definitely, the healthcare field is there, but the social services and grocery store workers and teachers and really everyone who's putting their own mental well-being on hold during this difficult time.
Why do you think that people in the healthcare sector or frontline workers, I guess, are more prone to burnout than other industries?
Well, I think that to be in a field like that, and to have that job, you're obviously have a willingness to give and a willingness to put your own mental well-being on hold and to take care of others before yourself, and that is what would lead to burnout and compassion fatigue and just stress, is not taking care of yourself and just continuing to give and give. There's a quote by a guy named Viktor Frankl, and he's a Holocaust survivor and a psychologist, and he wrote a book called A Man's Search for Meaning, and what he says is, what is to give light must endure burning. And as frontline workers, we give light to our community, and we illuminate the community and those we serve, and we give and give, but as we give, we endure burning, and if we don't take care of ourselves and build resiliency, we can only give for so long. And so that's why it's so important for things like self-care and peer support and having positive workplace environments and things like that in these places.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, I've heard tons of stories about, I guess, verbal abuse and physical abuse from patients, from families of patients. I think that adds up so much, and it's so hard for healthcare workers and frontline workers to deal with on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't imagine working in an environment like that. Do you know if AHS or any other, I guess, governing bodies or anything are doing anything to help with this at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't know exactly what AHS is doing, but I know that nowadays, fortunately, a lot of organizations are very open. They realize that this is not their fault necessarily. It is the reality of the job,
Yeah.
and frontline workers and caregivers, and they're doing things such as personal days, wellness days, encouraging self-care, encouraging taking breaks, things like that. But I think I know, just being a frontline worker myself, it's so easy just to get wrapped up in the job and focused and not keep putting off the stress and just keep not worrying, just thinking, no, burnout's not affecting me, and it's not, I'm not burning out, and then um, you know I've been sharing that one of the symptoms is sleeping too much, and it's how often can we just be, sleeping a lot, and it's, oh, I'm just tired, and you just pass it off, and you don't realize that it is burnout coming on you, and um, eventually it hits you, and then it's too late. And so there's definitely things, and organizations are doing great things, and Beat the Burn is just another reminder to take care of yourself, and to really demonstrate peer support is the biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you found that you're experiencing burnout yourself at all?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling the stress and feeling exhausted, and definitely need to take breaks myself.
Yeah. Because of your job or because of the pandemic, or more so because of the pandemic, I guess?
Yeah, more so of the pandemic,
Yeah.
just the added health risk, and just the other stuff that we have to deal with, and
Yeah.
just constantly adapting to the new challenges that were being faced.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you mentioned compassion fatigue. What what is that?
You're gonna ask me a definition again. I would have to give you a good answer. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, I could fake it. It's really just caring for others for so long that you get exhausted. But let me.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
It's caring for others for so long that you just get exhausted and not caring for
Yeah.
yourself.
Okay, I get that. Yeah. So I guess you've seen, well, have you seen kind of a drastic increase in burnout in frontline workers due to the pandemic?
Yeah, there's definitely been studies already about burnout, and they've shown burnout has increased. A lot of these studies are specific, based sort of on healthcare or whatever sector you're in. There, I haven't found necessarily a study that includes all frontline workers, but just the idea and burnout of putting your own mental well-being on hold, and caring for others, and giving. Um, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
definitely an increase with the pandemic.
I assume you've heard about the critical worker benefit that the government has. I don't know. It's unofficially released,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's obviously great to get rewarded and thanked for the hard work. I know that my staff are very appreciative of it, and they're
Hmm.
thankful for it. And yeah, I think um, unfortunately money's not gonna increase your mental well-being necessarily. So
Yeah.
hopefully the money goes towards taking care of yourself and self-care, and
Hmm.
doing something. And whether, I guess, if you just spend it all on a shopping spree or something, that could be self-care.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all for it. Sure.
Yeah, I guess everybody's definition of self-care is different,
Yeah,
so
totally.
I guess, okay, back to Beat the Burn. What are some of the, I guess, misconceptions or stigmas that you hope to extinguish with this initiative?
Yeah. So definitely the biggest one is where frontline workers are getting, I guess, labeled would be the word, as heroes and whatnot throughout this pandemic, and very very thankful for the recognition that we're getting. But when you place the word hero, it takes away the ability to have flaws, and
Yeah.
as frontline workers, uh, if you experience burnout, it's not a reflection of you or your ability to do
Mhm.
the job. And that's the biggest thing. Is I've had coworkers that have quit, and due to exhaustion and just the stress, and it weighs on them that they weren't able to. They felt like it was their fault, that they caused that they weren't able to do it, and
Mhm.
that's not necessarily the case. it goes back to that quote, that as we give light, we are going to endure burning. And as long as you have the passion and the willing to give and put others first, you can be a frontline worker, because resiliency can be developed and created, and we can all do it. We need that passion.
Mhm.
So that's the biggest thing, is that we are heroes, but we're going to need to take care of ourselves, and it's okay if you're feeling that way and you're feeling exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. All heroes need downtime too, right?
Absolutely.
So with the healthcare field on the path that it is, do you think it's realistic for someone to be in that industry or be a frontline worker long term and be able to maintain their own health and well-being at the same time?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You do?
Yeah, I would. And it really just, as long as you can put yourself a priority and take care of yourself, and, leave the job at, at, at work, and the stresses at work, and
Yeah.
there's it is possible, and hopefully Beat the Burn can bring some, can help with that and help create longer, um, careers, and more passionate careers.
Mhm. So how do you differentiate between that? How do you leave work at work and come home and not stress about the day or what's happening tomorrow? How do you have that work-life balance?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just recognizing that while you're at work, you're doing the best you can, and you're focused on that. And then when you go home, just remember that you did the best you can, and you are doing okay, and people are appreciating you, and you're doing good work. And also, I know for myself, I check my emails too much, and my work emails, and it's really, if it doing whatever you can to really detach from that.
Yeah.
And if that means, deleting the app on your phone, and then that's what you need to do. And yeah, just taking care of yourself is
Mhm.
the biggest thing.
I think a lot of people don't fully realize how stressed out they are or how burnt out they can be. I I worked in a job for 7 years where I had a work phone. I had to check my emails outside of work 24/7, answer the phone 24/7. And then I switched careers, went to a brand new job where as soon as I was off the clock, they told me not to look at anything, not check anything. And then I fully realized like, oh my God, this work-life balance is so different and it makes such a big difference to like how energized I am and how happy I am. And I think a lot of people don't fully realize how much time they commit to work and not to themselves and their own lives.
Absolutely, yeah, completely agree.
Okay, so burnout applies to everyone, obviously, more so to frontline workers right now. Is there anything that the general public can do to help with that?
Well, it's really just, like I've said, the peer support has been shown to be the most effective way to prevent burnout.
Mhm.
And so it's just really being supportive, and definitely the community has been more than supportive of frontline workers during this time. But unfortunately, pandemic, or the burnout will not end with the pandemic,
Yeah.
if it ever ends. So it's really just continuing the support, and continuing to care for others, and yeah, that would be the biggest thing.
I know that you have created pins as well to spread awareness about burnout. Tell me about that. And how can people get them? Can we get them? Are they just for frontline workers? What's it all about?
Yeah, so that's definitely the way that I'm trying to really demonstrate peer support. And so they're pins, and basically what what I've been saying is when a frontline worker is wearing one, it provides a reminder to take care of yourself and make yourself a priority. But when they're worn in by a group or worn by a team, they can create safe places for having these hard conversations about our mental health, and they can demonstrate this peer support. And so it all kind of started because I thought it'd be pretty cool that as I'm working and I'm exhausted and just mentally drained, I know that if I can get these pins across Canada, then I know that there's a frontline worker somewhere else that may not know exactly what I'm going through, but they care and they support me, and I support them, and we have each other's backs. And so right now I'm trying to get them within frontline organizations and worn by frontline workers across Canada, but they're definitely not just for frontline workers. There can be for everyone, just to provide reminders to make yourself a priority, and to keep the frontline workers in mind as we're continuing to fight this pandemic. And if you head over to my website, www.letsbeattheburn.com, I've started a fundraiser for CMHA, and so if you make a donation of whatever amount, I'll send you some pins to wear, and I'm looking for other people to sponsor these pins for teams, and I've got a couple businesses and local businesses to pay for the pins, and I'm able to then go get units within hospitals and whatnot, and different teams of these pins to wear, and to really raise awareness.
Wow, I love that. That's so awesome. So how many pins have you distributed so far? Do you know?
Yeah, so we're at about 1,200 pins within
Nice.
frontline workers across 4 provinces, and hopefully got some more things seem to be working out that will hopefully grow. And yeah.
Do you have a goal for kind of how far you want to spread it, or you're just going to keep going?
I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
I'd like to get it within every province in Canada. But if I could get every frontline worker to know that they're not alone, and there's the whole country supports them, it'd be a pretty cool thing. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I am totally going to donate and get a pin. I'm a chemist by day, so I will throw one on my lab coat for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've already got a little collection. People at work make fun of me because I'm the only one that wears pins, but you know what?
Oh, really?
I'm going to do it. That is amazing. Okay, so I guess anybody can go onto your website, donate, and get a pin, spread awareness, all of that kind of thing?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay.
please.
Perfect. That's kind of all the questions that I had for you. I just wanted to dive into what Beat the Burn was all about and your whole initiative. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or bring up?
No, I think that's all. And thank you for starting conversations, and starting conversations about mental health and talking about it. And that's the biggest thing. I think we got a strong future and exciting future ahead, and I think we can really make a difference.
Yeah, I do too. I want to thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you if they want to reach out?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. It's at Beat the Burn, and my website is www.letsbeattheburn.com. And you could email me. It's colin@letsbeattheburn.com, and be happy to connect and talk. And yeah.
Perfect. And I will add all of that stuff to the podcast description so people can see that as well. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Feel free to reach out at any time. Share your story, speak your truth, and together we can stomp the stigma.